welcome back to South African Prepper. So this video forms part of our bartering videos. So in our first video we spoke about bartering food items and what food items you can stockpile or prep to barter with. And then another video we spoke about non-food items that you can barter with. I'll put the description of, or the link of the video in the description for you, so you can go have a look, because these videos work in combination with each other. So thank you for joining us again. Please like, share and subscribe, and thank you very much for growing this Prepping for Dummies channel. So for today's video, using your survival skills for bartering. Now, your skills that you will need will depend really on which part of the world you are from. Now, we are in the Southern Hemisphere, we are in South Africa. The skills we have, the normal skills we use daily, might be far different than where you are from, maybe wherever you are from in the world, North America, or Europe, or down in Australia or New Zealand. But the basics always will stay the same. So once a Shtf collapse scenario happens, we do believe that we will basically go back to our primitive ways. So the skills that you will need to survive will basically serve your basic needs. So the first skill that you need to be able to have, or that you need to practice, especially if you live in the cities, is cooking skills. Now, many people are going to say, well, we cook every single day. Well, let me tell you this: cooking over fire, or cooking with wood or charcoal or coal, is far, far different than cooking on an electric stove or even a gas stove. So you need to understand that at some point, even if you take a propane tank or gas tanks with, and you want to be cooking on gas, at some point in time, the gas will actually run out. So in South Africa, we are extremely lucky, because part of my culture as being a white South African, so in South Africa, we are fairly lucky because we barbecue a lot. We call it braai. So this is cooking food over a wood fire. And it's actually part of our culture. We've gone as far as making stews on the fire, and for fun over the weekend we do a barbecue or a braai, and you might even include baking a bread on the fire or the coal. So for us, these skills as South Africans are normal skills, but cooking skills over a fire might not be a skill that a person in a city might have. So the second skill we think that preppers should have is purifying water. Now, doesn't matter where you live in the world, water is an issue. And I see that in North America and even in Europe, the droughts are extremely bad. So because of the population increase the last 50 years, most of our rivers all over the world are actually polluted. So I believe being able to purify water is an actual skill. So it doesn't matter how you do it, and this is a topic on its own, but you need to be able to purify water. That is extremely important for us. And then thirdly, skills to have as part of your prepping is that you need to go have a look at what you are good at. Now, I'm a farmer, I farm, so naturally the skills that I do have is to plant and to harvest, and all of the processes before and in between. So that is a skill that I practice daily, and that is definitely one of the skills that you need to have and be prepping, is planting. You need to be able to plant and produce your own food. Now, if we look at the world and how it is currently going, we can see that the bigger hands are wanting to use us as slaves one day. So food will definitely be a commodity. Food you will be able to barter and trade with. And food will definitely in the very near future be in short supply. So being able to plant, being able to produce, and I think you could include raising livestock with that as well, chickens and goats and cows and getting milk and eggs and all of those things. That is a skill. And if you can, you need to be practicing it, because food will become a commodity. So that is our 3 survival skills that we think is the most important for you to have and to learn. So 1 is cooking over a fire, 2 is water purification, and then number 3 is actually producing food as well. So one can add to this list and you can make quite a long list, but working with your hands in a collapse situation, fixing things, clothing will be a big issue. So if you can fix clothing and you can make clothing, you can sew and knit and all of those things, that is an extremely good skill to have. Fixing things, fixing mechanical things, fixing electrical things, fixing and making furnitures, anything that you can do with your hands. And think primitive. Go back in history and see wherever you are from. We're from South Africa, so I go back in history, and we've got the voortrekkers. Those are people with ox wagons that were the pioneers of Southern Africa. And I went and I had a look at how they survived. What did they do? How did they preserve the meat? How did they fix the wagons? How were they able to transport everything? Well, they used ox wagons and horses. So maybe those are the type of skills that we need to be working on now. How did they cook? How did they hunt? How did they trade? So I'm inspired by history at this stage, because at this stage we are learning quite a lot from history. And work on your skills. Skills is extremely important. If you're sitting at home during lockdowns, practice making bread, practice cooking over a fire, and it's a hell of a lot of fun, I can tell you that. Well, thank you very much for watching South African Prepper. Please like, share and subscribe, and thank you for helping us to grow this channel.